Morning, everybody. How you all doing? It's Saturday. It's the 29th of November. Good Lord, time goes by fast. Anyhow, um, always a little different around the holidays. At least we have been traditionally. Time to give thanks, uh, share moments with the family, friends, others, in order to bring the year to a close and start anew. Flew out to Baltimore. It's not true. Well, flew to DC in order to go to PA on Thursday. Supposed to fly out on Wednesday. Obviously, God did not plan that like I planned it. So she grounded me on Wednesday. I was stuck at work. Had to catch up on some things. That's okay. It was just an additional flight. Skills was supposed to have a performance in Virginia on Wednesday. His last. It was billed as his last, so I wanted to be a part of that. Unfortunately, that got canceled. That's okay. He's okay. As long as he's okay, I'm okay. It don't. It's all good. But scrambled out Thursday. Yeah, so I flew from Atlanta to St. Louis. Had like a 2 hour layover in St. Louis, close to a 2 hour layover. Then from St. Louis to DCA. Get to DCA, no freaking cars at the rental car company. None. Zero. Not the one that I had, not the style that none. Got me in a freaking Ram pickup truck right now. Your boy, okay, don't ever want to own one of these things, but one of the good things about it is I got to stretch like a mofo. Like it's a step, well, yeah, it's a step up without a doubt, and a step down. Definitely had to get used to that. So I threw my cell phone on the floor at least 6 times because it doesn't have the, I guess you call it the carousel console in the front like my cars do. So muscle memory, right? Check the phone real quick, boom, boom, toss it in front, keep it moving. Yeah, there's nothing to toss it to, so that's definitely been interesting. But I've made it through and continue on. Got to my told my brother I would be there around 5 at 5, if not after 5. Actually got there before 5, which was a miracle, but I was pushing that gas for real, and I paid for it too. I filled that mug up last night. That shit was $60. I was like, son of a bitch. But I ain't seen. I haven't seen a $60 fill up on a car, and I have my Nissan Murano because I had to use premium. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Yeah, your boy is spoiled from these damn hybrids. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you at all. But made it in time. Nephew was there. Great nephew was there. Nephew was with wife, and great niece was there. So I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? There can't be much happier goings on than what I had going on. So I'm cool with all that. Uh, Rodney called me Thursday. He called me Thursday. Yeah. He think he's slick. He did a wellness check on me because he knows how I feel around this time of the year. This time of the year I get extremely. I'm not going to say depressed. I don't think it's depression, but I get very emotional this time of the year. Let me give you some background on that. So I joined service in July of '92. By the time I was done with training, uh, I actually got assigned to Lackland Air Force Base. Very brief stint. Then it was like, oh yeah, you ain't supposed to be here. So they kicked me out and I went to the UK. Well, I got to the UK the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Let me explain something to y'all. I was barely 18 years old. I turned 18 September the 9th. I got to the UK the Sunday before Thanksgiving in 92. I'm This is the first major holiday that I'm away from home. This is the first major holiday that I'm away from everything and everybody that matters to me, right? And I had to figure it out. So I spent Thanksgiving 92 in the dorms, eating out of styrofoam containers, surrounded by a bunch of motherfuckers I didn't even know.
Mm.
That really put a spark in me to change that moving forward. So 93 comes along, and 93 was the greatest Thanksgiving I've ever had in my life thus far, without a doubt. Maybe when my grandkids get older, God willing, the creek don't rise, I'm still around, they have kids, and we sit around for Thanksgiving, that'd be the absolute greatest that I've ever had. But as of now, that's the greatest Thanksgiving I've ever had in my life. My brothers and I get together, we get the word that the base is going to close. Um, well, we were at a base realignment and closure period, but we got the word that we were going to shut down for the holiday for an additional couple of days. So the word is buzzing like heavy at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Heavy. So Todd calls our rental car dude. He's like, yo, get us a whip, make a nice space. We about to hit it. He does that. Mel gets on the phone. Yo, if they shut us down, we coming up. This thing comes together as to where we are. We stopped at Poco Locos. I know you don't know what that is, and that's okay. Poco Locos was a chicken spot, right? Well, they did tacos and shit too. So, but they also did fried chicken for there. That shit was good as hell. So we got some big ass trays of chicken, some big ass trays of fries. We had uh it wasn't even a minivan, yo. It was like a 15 passenger van type situation. You know what I'm saying? Some shit's like that. It was crazy. So we in this mug, we got the cold duck, Martini Rossi Monty going on. We ready to go. You feel me? We got this mug packed up, packed down. I had no idea what's going on that weekend. Son, we get in the car, we get the rolling, we go into the spot. Um, called Nocton Hall. So we up there. So Nocton Hall at this point is a emergency base, emergency hospital. That's what it is. There are less than 20 people on the entire base. Messed around, Melly Mel, one of his boys, who was a tech sergeant, was the fucking assistant base commander. This motherfucker give us keys to the gate. He give us keys to what used to be the NCO club. It's still standing. It was still in good condition, but it's less than 20 people on the base. Nobody used that mug. So we pulls up in that monster, and again, nobody used it, so we had to clean it out. We clean it out. We set up. We find places to sleep, so on and so forth. Um, we roll out. We go to the club, have a great night. This is when I almost got stabbed for the fourth time in life. So we go to the club. We have a great time, man. Great time. Come in. I'm toe up from the flow up. We leave the club. We need some food because we are toe down. Go to this kebab shop. Brother Barry, it was this sister in there. This young lady was gorgeous. You hear me? Your boy was tilted too, and she was thicker than grits on ham toast. You feel me? Hair long. She was Pakistani or something. Hair just flowing long. She got the fat face. I mean, she had it top to bottom on down to the toenail. And let me tell you again, your boy was on tilt. So I'm in that mug just spitting. Yo, what's your name? Ba-da-da-da-da. I'm getting it in. You know what I'm saying? So much so, I'm the last cat up in the spot. I'm in the spot. I'm still spitting. Bah, bah, bah. She ain't said word. She just smiling. Cheek to cheek, just smiling, blushing. Da 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 da. I'm like, look, all you got, look, just give me a name, just give me a name. Man, next thing I know, Terry Card grabbed me by the collar. Man, get your ass. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah. He said, yo, did you see that dude with that knife about to gut you out? I'm like, huh? He said, yo, I don't know if that was a husband, brother, whatever, but yo was about to gut you out. He comes out with a freaking knife about to do you in, son. I'm like, oh shit, good looking, son. Yo, shorty was bad. I'm still tilted. I am 100% on tilt, son. I ain't feeling nothing. It's cold as hell. It's the UK. It's November. It's cold as hell. It was raining earlier. I mean, cold to the bone. It was just one of them nights. It was really one of them nights. Fast forward, because I ain't gonna get stuck on this forever. We cooked the next day. When I say we, I mean my brothers. They cooked the next day. We sat down. We had food. Uh, really fellowship that day. Ty grabs me. I didn't have a driver's license at the time. He grabs me. He's like, "Yo, look, I'm tired of fucking driving your ass around all the time. Get your ass on. Let's go." Like, what's up? You gonna drive this fucking truck? You gonna drive this shit? I'm like, all right, that's what's up. Right, took the keys from here. Boom, boom. He goes outside. He had no intentions of driving. I'm gonna tell you how I know. He comes outside with a flute in one hand and a glass of champagne in the other. He said, "Motherfucker, don't make me spill my drink." So I'm in the car. I've never driven a 15 passenger van, or 8 passenger, whatever it was. I never drove in anything that big. He said, "Yo, just don't make me spill my shit." It's like, all right, cool. We pulls 5 speed. Again, I'm in the UK, sitting on the other side, shifting with my left hand. We whip. I'm whipping this mug, driving all around. He's like, okay. Pouring this shit. Okay, yeah, you doing your thing, you doing your thing. So we get back, motherfuckers. How that motherfucker do? Say he did good as shit. Yo, he pretty good. When you get your shit, then you want us to fucking officially drive, man. Fuck y'all. So that was that. That was '93. There was some more things that went on. It was really topped off Sunday night. Sunday night we get back and we went to see Luther at Wimbledon. Fucking amazing. Literally amazing. Got in late as hell Monday morning, drunk as shit again, and went to work like it wasn't nothing. But that whole weekend. Oh, let me say something else. Saturday, I believe it was Saturday, we go out shopping. If it wasn't Saturday, it was Friday. Don't matter the day. We go out shopping. And my money was a little tight. Not gonna lie, money was a little tight. You know what I'm saying? Because this was damn near the end of the month. It was right before we got paid. At least in my head, it was right before we actually got paid. I didn't even recognize it. But we're at the BX, the base exchange. It's like fucking mall at Lake and Heath Air Force Base. I say this to shout out your hat, brother Barry. So we walk in, and we moving, boom, boom. Let me tell you something, Sister Rashi. Sisters with curves were the worst thing that could happen to brothers in the UK. Why? European clothes are not generated for sisters at all, at all. So you got, whenever shipments would come in, sisters would come and hit the men's section in order to get shit that actually fit. Because if not, only thing they was wearing with leggings, and they got tired of wearing leggings all the damn time. So I go in, I see a Notre Dame sweatshirt, like, oh, son, gotta get it, gotta get it. That mug was fire too. Had to get it, had to get it. So I copped it. It wasn't super expensive, but again, my money was tight. So I saw a hat. I looked at the hat, looked at the price on the hat. I was like, ooh, now I can get them. I ain't gonna be able to get none else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I need for a day or two, but I can get it. So Todd's right there. He's like, yo, what's up? It's like, nah, he's like, what you doing? I said, I'm trying to figure out. It's like, man, get both of them shits. You be all right. I was like, yeah, yo, you right. You know what I'm saying? You right. I'm gonna be all right. Fuck that shit. I'll be cool. I'm gonna make it. You know what I mean? Then as I'm walking out, I think I saw a CD or something else. And I was like, ooh, now I'm really pushing it. I'm really pushing it. So he's like, man, get that shit. It's like, yeah, fuck it. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. I can eat the oodles and noodles. I'll be all right. I'll be straight. Long story short, we get up to the counter. Todd's in front of me. He goes, he said, yo, put your stuff on the belt. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm sitting, I'm in the back just talking. You know what I'm saying? A couple of minutes go by. He said, yo, put your stuff on the belt. I said, no, I'm good. Um, I'm good. He said, man, put your shit on the belt. You ain't paying for none of that. Bro, I got you. You are my little brother. As long as there's breath in my body, you ain't paying for shit while I'm around. Put that shit on the belt. You ain't got to worry about nothing. I got it. Broke down crying. I'm almost crying right now because I remember that feeling. That was the first time in my life that I heard from another man that I was loved. Mm. So when this time of the year comes around, I do go to a very special place. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward some years later, when Rodney and I finally hooked up in Korea, we found a similar brotherhood in the crew that we were with called Old School Incorporated, and I definitely fell in with that crowd and was about that mission because I knew what it could do to people. I especially understood what it could do to young men whom may have never encountered such love, appreciation in their life before.
Right.
So yeah, definitely go to a different place. Definitely am about that thank you life in this stage. Not just this stage of life, but in this stage of rotation around the sun because we've gone through a lot this year. You know, we have gone through changing of the guard as far as the political landscape is in our country. We've gone through loss at some level, most of us, directly or indirectly. We've gone through life. Most of us, directly or indirectly. Somebody was born. Somebody had a baby. You know, and to be at this stage in that rotation, almost the end of the year, it's good to be here. It's good to be. It's still good to be above ground. It's still good to be in the right mindset most of the time. I still drink that firewater every now and again, but most of the time I'm in a great mindset, and I just look forward to turning the page into 2026 and see what happens on that end. You know, but shout outs to all my brothers and sisters in arms, whom are hundreds, if not thousands, and sometimes hundreds of thousands, because there be some people up there too every now and again, away from their families, doing what they need to do in order to provide for not only their families themselves, but for all of us. That is not a easy feat to overcome. That is not something that most of you all can even fathom. Even the folks whom are incarcerated, especially if they're incarcerated in the same state, hell, even if they're incarcerated in America, at least they're still in America. When you are thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away from home, dog, and you got an asshole for a boss who's telling you you can't do this and you can't do that, or wants to make you work, extra hour here, extra hour there, every damn day, and you want to cuss that motherfucker out, but you can't because you know you're gonna go to prison. That's a different life. That's a different life. And as I noted on Facebook, freedom ain't free. So thank you to all those whom are doing that part right now, whom may be getting the best meal of their entire service thus far this year because it is Thanksgiving, whom will pretty much get the same damn meal again on Christmas. No originality, dog. No originality. Who pretty much get the same meal on Christmas, you know what I'm saying? Because it's damn Christmas and you go from there. But this is the time when everybody and their mama all of a sudden shows up and they extra care, meaning the folks at the top whom you never damn see or very rarely do you see, but now all of a sudden they want to be everywhere. Man, get the fuck away from me. I don't want to talk to you right now. I ain't seen your ass all damn year. Now all of a sudden you want to pop your face in, and you're just as not accessible now that you're here as you were when you weren't here. So whatever. But that's my shout out to my cousin Marcus Hall. No real reason for that, except for again when I got to the UK, he was very much there to help me acclimate myself and get myself right in order to push on. So I always got to shout out that brother, man. He was definitely there for me and helped get me right as far as getting me on schedule, getting me on task, so I could do everything else I was able to do later on. So yeah, that's what I'm thankful about. Sister Rashi got the corona going on. I didn't think he was going to pop up this morning, Rashi. The way you made it seem, I thought you was down for the count. But
Hey
you fighting
man,
back
this
against
is
the corona,
man,
man,
this
huh?
is this is me and his third dance, baby.
No?
He finna get on. I got corona before they started calling it corona. Um,
Okay.
I got it back in 2019 when everybody was like, "It's something going
going
I'm not
around, right?
sure, but both my grandmas are dead. I don't know what's happening. So yeah, I got it back in 2019. I had it again in, like, y'all remember, I had it like in 2022 or 23. It was after. But I got it again. And I looked up and I could not, I was in here just to eating and I couldn't taste none of that shit. And I thought it was because I, as eating so fast, I'm a I'm a I'm a big girl, so so when I eat, I be eating. I was eating so fast, I couldn't taste it. I said, "Hold up! There's only been one other time, or a couple other times when I was elbows deep in some food, spicy food, right? And I still couldn't taste it. So I went, and my school outfitted me with a few Corona boxes of Corona COVID tests. And I took
Okay.
one, and I'll be damned if I didn't come up positive for COVID after all these years. So I isolated. As I just happened to have to isolate on Thanksgiving. I don't know if that was a blessing or a curse. I didn't have to stir shit, dice shit, cut shit. I just ordered some stuff in from uh no, you don't know, baby. I'm the slicer dicer. I don't do a lot of high powered cooking for Thanksgiving, but if you need it cut, sliced, peeled, or even, just looked at in the oven, I'm your girl. So
Okay.
I didn't have to do any of that. But guess what? How about I did not get to taste one morsel of my family's Thanksgiving either. They didn't.
Well, like you
Nobody.
said,
Yeah, I didn't
you
go
don't know
down
if
there
that
and
was a
get it.
gift or a curse.
I didn't go down there and get my plate because that's not what you don't drag Corona down to the communal pot. But in turn, ask me how many everybody was here. Ask me how many people asked me if I even wanted a slice of fucking turkey.
Mm-mm-mm.
Eventually, I just ordered some Chinese, ate that, laid down. The next day, my cousin, well, he's actually a cousuncle. He's a cousin so old he act like an uncle. You know, cousuncles and cousantes. My cousuncle said, "You ain't had what?" He got me some greens with the pork bone in it. That pork bone was so big, he barely put no greens in there. The bone was so
Mm.
big. But the point is it took someone outside of the household to look and say, "Oh, okay, you ain't been cared for," and he took care of that. So I am thankful. I'm thankful for one, just how massive my family is. I know I got easily more than 300 or 400 cousins, but it's because my family, I do believe, were ancestral breeders. So we just have a lot of family, and our women in our family birth a lot. And so I got a lot of cousins, and the one that and it wasn't my mama, but she did get down there and cook. Now I don't know if you know what this means, but my mama ain't cooked in no kitchen in a couple of years. She don't go
Mm.
down there. We've all been doing our part to somebody come and make the bird, but everybody bring the sides, right? So mama don't have to cook. This year we got so shitty. At one point, my 75-year-old mama was in the kitchen all by herself. Talking about, that's what I said. Everybody was here, and she was still in the kitchen by herself. So it's been a weird Thanksgiving. However, I'm just thankful that to be alive. You know what I'm saying? The coronavirus is not a game.
Right.
And I have already infected at least one other person because
Mm.
I didn't pay attention to the symptoms. Like I was unwell, but I didn't know I was communicably unwell. And
Right.
so yeah, I
Do
mean,
you,
I'm thankful.
do you think that's a particular challenge for Black women not recognizing when they need to slow down and take care of themselves?
Not, I'm talking about Americans. Like, we so busy, scared. Like, they properly scared us this last time. They took the stamps, right? So people got to see the possibility of others being hungry, and so it really activated in my mindset the fact that they leave your ass starving, boo. You better get out there and get it going. You better braid some hair or do some nails or twerk, play with Mr. Johnny or Mr. Earl. You're going to have to. I'm just telling you the truth now. He's there to be played with, so it's not her fault. So, but I'm telling you, it's the resources that you find yourself trying to avail yourself of because you looked up and you realized that you didn't have it. You ain't got it like that. You ain't got it. You ain't got the
Mm,
what you said when you were shopping. Damn, I might not have it like that.
right,
That
right, right,
assessment, the assessment you did while you was doing your copious spending 10 all them years ago, is an assessment we're all doing, Lee. Do I have all four bills? Because you know it's 4 or 5 bills. You lucky if you down to 4 bills, right? The mortgage,
right.
lights, gas, water, lights, gas, water. Oh, and if you don't consider the internet a proper utility anymore, then you lost in the sauce. Like it's hardly a thing you can do if you don't have internet in your home. Those 4 bills together, and I ain't say nothing about eating, did I? I
No,
ain't say
you have
shit
not.
about. I said nothing about eating. I'm talking about just having somewhere where you could eat. Okay, those 4 bills are making black women in general, I mean specifically, and then people in general, real nervous. So one of the things we were talking about is being thankful, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I just need you to know that this is one of the deadliest Thanksgivings we've ever seen on planet Earth. I mean, it's other people in other nations, they are suffering and we're just kind of chilling here. I mean, it's Chinese people burned alive in buildings, right? Right now, it's Thailanders just floating down into the water. And so when you say I'm thankful, it's not because I finally got some chitlins. I don't even eat them, but some
Mm-hmm.
people are thankful. Some people are thankful that they got a bowl of decent chitlins. I'm saying be thankful that you are not floating down the river Styx, like literally on fire, engulfed in fire on floor 110. And so I am grateful. I'm grateful whether I got to eat the food or not. I definitely contributed because the whole point of Thanksgiving is what you got. In fact, I love to think of Thanksgiving as the stone soup season. What you got? I personally only got carrots. What you got, Barry? Barry, I got potatoes. What you got, Lee? I got partial. You understand? And then it's the communal behavior. And look who we have to rest on in order to even think about being communal. We have to go back into what the indigenous people did in order to keep those villainous, savage pilgrims alive, in order to even think about this holiday, properly. So I am thankful. I'm thankful that that us pilgrims now, because that's all we are. Literally, this ain't our land. We can sit here 1,000,000 years, and that does not make it yours, right? It just makes it borrowed. And so, at least now we are have. It's at least how many people you think, Brother Barry, say if you have a party of 100, how many of them gonna come in really understanding the what indigenous people did for us, what we did in return? And I say we as an American, not we as an African. What we in turn as American did to them. Like how many people still know really are ready to accept the story that this is us saying it's we sorry too. I'm sorry, Mr. Wanapango, because that's the name of the Wapanango, Wapanka, the Wampananga. The Wampananga is the actual tribe, right? That gave them dang starving pilgrims something to eat so that they did not starve to death all those many, many hundreds of years ago, right? That is what we celebrating. We celebrating people who fed their enemy in a very Christian way, as they say, in a very Christian way. They actually fed their enemy. They may not have known it at the time, but they behaved as if they were friends, whether they were enemies or not. So, how many people are showing up to these celebrations and festivals knowing that story, knowing that history? That's the point. That
Oh,
every year, y'all, somebody else goes, I'm going to eat this damn turkey, but I'm going to let you know that I do not like uh genocide. I do not like how we are doing, not how we did, y'all, how we are doing indigenous people. I do not like the tenets, but I do know that this is a holiday that at least makes the average white American say there was something here. Look, it was something here before us. And so that's amazing to me that crowd is growing, right? So yeah, I had a fantastic time sitting in my bed, me and Mr. Corona Man caressing each other while I ate Chinese food. But next year, I think I'm going for my own house, right? And I think next year Thanksgiving will be at my house. Now that's a lot to say
You
for me. That's a lot to say for me. But
you
next
moving?
year, I'm gonna have to. This my house is 8 people in a 3 bedroom, 1 bath. That and I have a fairly decent income. It doesn't make sense. As much as I would like to help, it just does not make sense for a 51-year-old woman to be in a bunk bed with her sister and earn the kind of wages that I do now. So next year, uh, my house. Next year, my house. That's my goal. I looked up this morning. I said, "I'll bet you didn't even get a piece of turkey." Guess what? Next year, it's my turkey. Right? Next year, it's my turkey. I mean, it's mine to share. Let's say that.
Right.
And so that's
I
my
got you.
goal. That's my goal next year. I put forth a personal goal this year because I did not appreciate how beholden I was and how unable I was to fellowship or whatever. So next year, it's my house. Next year, you all are welcome. Please, Brother Barry, Brother Vaughn, find your way to Kansas City, and and I'll roll out that spread on your ass. I'll put a Caribbean spread out. Y'all ain't had no Thanksgiving till you have it like the Caribbeans have it. They, for some reason, really believe more than any of us do. So
Really believe.
you ain't never been to no. Have you ever been to a Caribbean Thanksgiving, Barry?
No.
Bro, there are 2 rooms of food. Okay, they do that fake shit for the Americans, and then they start pulling out snapper and peas and rice, and it just becomes a whole odyssey of thankfulness. So next year, it's definitely me. It's possibly Caribbean, but it's only because if I don't get off my ass, brothers, I'll just be a 55-year-old woman tucked in the corner of somebody's bedroom,
Look, I know that.
still not getting no goddamn turkey for Thanksgiving. Like
That's right.
it doesn't make sense. And so I'm gonna try to pull 2026 together, and by 2026 this time, I would like, and I'm putting it out there in the ether because that's how we do it, right? That's how we do it. We say it 3 times, and I said it twice. I'll say it my third time, and that should show manifestation now. Now, it ain't just saying, I know the difference between just running my mouth and doing the works, brothers. But you have to start somewhere. And I'm saying 2026, it's my cute little, I don't give a damn if it's a 1-1. Hell, it's my little space
Right.
where I can host, right? I can pull
Right.
out a long ass table and run it down through the living room, dining room, and the kitchen all in one big table. I don't care. I don't actually care. I just need to be
Right.
to where I'm not waiting on somebody to bring me a slice of turkey. You know what I'm saying? And that only comes with self reliance. Yes, brother.
Brother Barry, how did you do? Were you feeling better?
Yeah. Well, no, I was tired, but I got some rest over at uh, uh you know, over at the family's
Got
house. Um,
got you.
while after I was watching the game a little bit, but it was my last time cooking for Thanksgiving.
What
That
you
was,
cook, brother?
I made my boys with.
Thank tomatoes, you
I just made some chicken. Let me see what we did. Chicken. We did some.
baked or fried. Come on now, you talking to black people. Baked or fried.
Oh no, we fried it. I got
We
two.
fried that.
I got
Barry, get them
I
into
got
the baked.
I got two 20-year-old sons. Man, anybody trying to hear that baked shit? That's for you old people.
Worried about cholesterol and shit. They
Yeah,
20. They trying to get that finger looking good.
yeah, ain't trying to hear that shit. But so I fried some chicken. I made some mashed potatoes. I made what else I made? I made some greens. I made some macaroni and cheese. I made some sweet potato
Hold on,
cornbread.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Smoked turkey or regular pork green?
Oh, I don't eat pork or beef, so it's definitely turkey.
Smoked turkey. Okay.
Okay? And then what else did I make? I baked some sweet potato pie, some sweet potato pie
Mm-hmm.
cakes. I'm trying to figure out what you know what? I probably made something else. I just forgot, man.
Damn, you sounded sexy as hell.
But you know, that, that was my
Because
last.
a brother can cook, Rashi? You saying he sounds sexy because a brother can
He didn't.
cook?
No, he didn't say he can bake. But
Oh,
when a
gotcha.
man say he made some pies, see, you don't understand. Baked goods take time. So that
Okay.
some fried chicken literally takes 15, 20 minutes. It's not that bad. I mean, I'm not
Great.
belittling your fried chicken prowess, by the way. But
Oh
see,
no, no, I hear.
the sweet potato pie take finesse. It need this, it need that. It just need a little. Sometimes it just need a little bit of something
Yeah.
that a person who not conscientious and detailed to be like, fuck that shit. But pies, baby, they take that zest, a little drop of this. That's a finesse that's sexy as hell, brother Barry, the bacon man. You don't know no baker. You don't know no male baker who don't got no piece. A line of women talking about, hey Thomas, how that bacon is real. And then you said sweet potato pie and cake. See, that's that shit. That's that shit right there.
But it's the last. It was the last meal. After this, right here, moving forward.
Okay, what happened? What
No,
happened?
no, nothing happened. I mean, listen, we're just stepping into where tomorrow's going to be. And so my thing was, I'm gonna knock this out for my boys, and then next moving forward for the rest of our lives, we'll have somebody making it for us.
Mm.
But that's what I'm working to get to, and that's the
I
mission.
like that. I
And so
like that.
for me, I just went on ahead and knocked it out and had no issues with it. But that's the last.
Wait, is that you telling your sons to go find them a real woman and hunker down for next Thanksgiving? Is that what that is?
Well, no, that's me saying that after I do what I need to do on my app, I'm gonna have me a chef that be preparing my food while I
Come on, come on. He said it'll be a person by this time next year, you all, there'll be a personal chef.
no 100%. Probably by my birthday, it'll be a personal chef. But that's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's what you work towards. And I've done it for the past few years. And I will say this much because I had a conversation last week about Thanksgiving. And I want to say, Rashi, the idea what the Native American, what the natives went through is a severe idea. But I will say that everybody can't afford to have that thought. And what I mean by that is most Black folks are beat down working hard on their jobs. And to get that day off, you ain't got time to think about nobody else's pain and suffering. You're just happy that you get a chance to get a full course meal that you typically can't afford to even sit down and eat without falling asleep inside of your rocker chair. I have to remind people that the average person don't sit up at galas 12 times a year. So these holidays are the only time where you get that special treatment when it comes to food. A lot of times our loved ones are not putting that type of time or love and energy into the food because they're rushed into the next thing they got to do. Tomorrow I got to be at work, or I got to be at work in a few minutes, or I just got off work. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, the 4th of July. We like those holidays because it's probably one of the few days that we're off together. And so a lot of people don't have the ability to afford the reflection of what happened to the natives. Should we reflect on it? Everybody should know it front and back. And if you don't know it by now and you're at least second grade and above, something's wrong with you. But I do feel like, at these holidays, no matter how, it's like everything in America, no matter how it got started, sometimes you're just looking for those days just for that break from your own pain and suffering. And I think that
I like
we don't focus on the current pain and suffering of people. And I do want to say, I do not put myself in the boat with the white man who took the land from the Native Americans, who worked the natives to the bone so bad that after he killed them off, he came and found us to have us come finish the job. Not to kill the natives, but to till the land and break the land for him. And I think that that's very important because sometimes in that conversation, we forget that. We also forget the disrespect as well as the discrimination against us from some of those tribes who are now having casinos and found the wealthier riches where we were once brothers and sisters in arms, and they invited us into their tribes. And then in the 70s, they started doing the blood quantum testing to disqualify you from being Cherokee, disqualify you from being Black Creek, disqualify you from being Choctaw. So I do acknowledge their pain and suffering because I feel like all melanated people across the world, I grew up thinking Bruce Lee was Black. So if you're
See
melanated,
that? See that?
if you're melanated, I feel like we're all one. So I stand with them, but I also say that, you know, those days is just more so about, man, it's hard to focus on someone else suffering when you're suffering day to day. So hopefully people got a chance to get out and get some time in with their loved ones and led with some gratitude. I think that's one of the things that's missing from the holidays these days. A lot of critique, less gratitude. And so I hope folks are leading this holiday season with gratitude.
Yesterday evening, I had to run by a store. There was a young lady standing in front of the store, cold, hungry. Walked past her, did what I needed to do, came out. She was still there. Walking past her again, I stopped. Said, "Hey, have you eaten?" She said, "No." I said, "Okay, come on, let's go." Took her, get something to eat. She said, "What can I get?" I said, "Whatever you want."
Mm.
So she starts to order. "Hey, can I?" "Whatever you want."
Mm.
"Thank you." "You don't need to thank me. I appreciate it, but you don't need to thank me. Everyone deserves to be seen. Everyone deserves to be fed. You know." So she's orders again. She goes back to ordering. She turns around. Look at whatever you want. Second time, she really got it. She got a couple other things. I didn't care. There is very little time in most of our lives that you're right, Brother Barry. We can sit back and reflect on someone else's pain. But if we don't, we could fall up. We could wound up being right next to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I would implore folks to at least
And
take a
that's
second.
what they wanted you to see that. That's exactly, say that again, preach, Brother Lee. What this last 6 months was about when they took SNAP benefits, when they did all that, is they said, look up, keep fucking with me. I'm gonna take your job. I'm gonna shut down your housing, right? I'm gonna take your food stamps. I'm gonna take your doctor. And so what they did was they scared the middle class. And by the way, unfortunately, we're all middle class. Just barely, right, Barry? Well, you probably got it proper. I'm looking at y'all's booties from down here at the bottom. But this is what they told us,
Stop it! Stop
brothers.
it!
This is what they told us. They said, say something else, motherfucker. And you won't even be able to buy Cheryl's stamps in a minute. You're not going to even be able to buy her stamps, right?
Mm.
They shut this nation down and almost made Thanksgiving seem like it wasn't going to happen. I know several people who were probably not able to do a large Thanksgiving because they had to just recover,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They had to buy recovery food. They could not put aside a tenth or 20% of their stamps this month so that they could do the feast. The feast was if the people didn't come with their turkey in the back of their truck, the feast was non-existent. That fear, y'all, that fear of this might be your last Thanksgiving like that is real, and it shocked the shit out of the middle class. So you're right, Lee. We're all in there trying to make sure we clock the fuck back in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because so that we can possibly buy some of Cheryl's stamps next month, because we couldn't get them this month. She didn't have none to spare. This was probably, have y'all seen them Thanksgiving posts? Like, I ain't trying to be funny. Most of I used to watch the TikToks and stuff so I could see the spread, right? Beans, greens, tomatoes, hams, lambs, whatever. Hey, them tables been ski. I see one bird, one half a ham, and like three sides. I don't know if y'all recognized it, but America pulled back at that Thanksgiving table this year.
Well,
Because
But
I think
did we
America.
pull back at Black Friday as well though? That's a question I had.
Well, I think people
yeah,
have. I think people have pulled back on a lot. But this is the thing that I caution us on collectively. Be careful on what you're pulling back on if you can afford it, because you have to remember that all of this is reciprocal. You know, I've been watching the conversation with Target and some of the other places, and I'm like, yeah, I do realize there's people that work for those places, right? And you got to be careful on what you break, especially if you don't have a plan B. And I'm hearing people talking about breaking and breaking. Don't do what Trump is doing to the country. Trump is trying to break this country, and he's doing a pretty damn good job of it. And if you don't believe it, ask why you're not seeing a GDP report. Why is there no jobs report? Because there is no jobs being issued into the system. There is no growth in the economy. The tariffs are breaking the country. And the holidays is just symbolic. And I just want people to think twice about all of these things, because if you assist in breaking the country, don't cry when it goes that way. I always said this to you guys before, protests are good, but you better have a damn plan B. And if you're telling me what I'm not spending money on, you better tell me where I can level it out. Because if you don't, and I spend all my money, which we do a lot of in foreign countries, on vacations, on resorts owned by pretty much racist white men who live in Canada, what you're going to find out is, yeah, you didn't put money into Target and Walmart and Amazon Prime, and you didn't put money in the stores that would probably give jobs to the people in your community. But I don't know how good your money is when you spend it on in the Caribbean or Mexico or all of these other luxury places that you spend thousands of dollars of, and you never seem to ask, how does that impact the people of that community? Just something to think about.
Whoa. That sounds a little bit personal, brother. Just so you know. But look, you spoke on something that is very fitting, right? So no, there's no jobs report coming out for October. There's no report on the GDP currently again for October. Those things are problematic for a number of reasons. First off, we don't know where the country's going. Second part, usually indicators are marked in 6 months intervals. So what's the April, May next year, somewhere along there? You won't have an indicator to go back to and see how things have gone because there's nothing there. That's a problem.
Well, they blaming
There
that on the
was a
shutdown. You know, they blaming that not
yeah,
on
that's
the fact that
bullshit.
it's shut. I mean, if they not there
That's
at
bullshit.
work, then how do they generate the numbers? Like,
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because that the report could be released late. They're not releasing the report at all, and they are back at work now. So that's bullshit. The so there was a social media post put out by Trump where he hinted that income taxes could soon be replaced because we're making so much money off the tariffs. How stupid is that? So you're gonna eliminate one tax for another tax because the tariffs are a tax. I was driving this morning and went by a gas station, and on the sign it clearly said credit debit additional 6 cents per gallon. Do you not think other companies are already pushing those expenses from the tariffs off on us? Now, initially, they probably had a buffer,
Mm-hmm.
but eventually, all of them be like, "Yeah, y'all motherfuckers got to pay more because I had to pay more to buy it."
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a tax.
Mm-hmm.
So now you want to be taxed on literally everything, where some things, depending on what state you live in, depending on what city you live in, you may not have to pay taxes on food. You may not have to pay taxes on clothing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have to pay, you being big company, have to pay these tariffs to get those goods in the country,
Mm-hmm.
they are going to pass that off to consumers. They're not going to call it a tax. It's going to increase the price.
Yeah.
That's it.
But you know what I will say
Look,
is,
they already got rid of the penny. That's already going to increase the price of stuff.
yeah, sure
Go
too.
ahead, brother.
Well, and what I will say is, while we are talking about, and I want to make sure I balance out my statement, find something black to purchase. That's my
There you
thing.
go.
Because when we talk about not spending dollars, I have not heard us talk more openly about spending with each other and naming the places that we are willing to spend.
mm-hmm.
to make revenue, and I think that that's very important. And that's what I mean by a balanced conversation. It's not that the protest is bad. I'm not saying that the protest is bad, but it should be a shifting in the mind as well as the dollar to black products. And if we did not have people who were producing those products a year ago, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, a year later, shouldn't we have something lined up with all of these dollars that we say we aren't spending to be able to have the black version of Target, to have the black version of Amazon, to have the black version of all of these places that we're upset by? There should have
No,
another
but
step.
that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen in a year's time for a couple of reasons. First off, unfortunately, we do not do well at corporate economics. We just don't. The blackout was announced for this weekend.
Right.
I'm sorry, my allergies are killing me, y'all. So I'm trying to address it as best I can. That's why I keep rubbing my eyes and stuff. But folk out there spending money. Folk out there on Amazon. Folk out there in Walmart. Folk out there in Target. Hell, yeah, in number, folk stood up and hurt Target, but there was still a lot of folk in Target.
Yeah.
You know, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, one of them. Dollar Tree, Dollar General, I
Well,
believe.
that was the other
Um,
about protesting.
right. So Jamal Bryan called for stop spending money with them folks because they don't look out for our folks. Folks still running up in Dollar Tree, Dollar General, whatever the hell it is.
We don't have
Dollar
a
General.
choice. They're the only store in our. We don't have a choice.
There's always a choice. There's always a choice, and
We
that they're
don't.
not the only store because you can go to the gas station and get whatever you need. It may be more expensive, but there's a
Right, and
choice.
them is Arabs. That's not our gas station. Like we're having a serious buying situation. If you want to buy black, you almost have to be on the internet, and even then, you're like there is no. Okay, let me let you finish.
No, go ahead. Go where you going.
Okay, look. So there's a lady on Facebook where she has this chronicle of different black owned businesses. I'm sorry, I got to get it right and post it on Real Radio when I
It's okay.
find it again. I forgot her
Mm-hmm.
name, but she has a actual website where she's looking at who is an actual black owned business, who's not, who's pretending to be like Shea Moisture or whatever, and who's not. And so she's compiled all of these websites so that you can purchase what we call we call it small Black Friday,
Okay.
purchasing purchasing from small black businesses on Black Friday, small Black Friday, right? So it's supposed to be the new movement. No, we don't buy nothing. You're right, Thomas. You're absolutely right. We don't buy nothing. We have been holding our money since we started boycotting Target, boycotting Walmart, boycotting shit, it was somebody else. And then we held our money to spend it all on black business on the internet because black business is mostly internet. It's not a lot of brick and mortar, Brother Barry. And so what it forces you to do is, yes, you can do this. You can buy black, but you also have to stop. You're not going to be able to get in your car and drive. You have to start with a online repository of different black owned businesses that you can purchase that are probably at somebody's house somewhere, but don't worry about that. Just know that this is the move. But look, how do you move me after 1,000 years of getting up and going to fight and punch some white lady in the side of her head for a $5 boombox? How do you move me out of that and into now I do a cost effective comparison of prices on the internet between black buyers. So even if I'm doing black purchasing, I'm still doing it fiscally smart. Like that's two different things. One is punching a white lady inside the head and snatching a doll out of her head.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is doing a comprehensive internet search between different black entrepreneurs trying to see who I mean, this is some different shit. Like you gotta hit. You hear what I'm saying, brother Barry? Can you hear what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I think, Sister Rashi, how I look at it is always, when there's a need, that means that there's an opportunity. And I'm just saying that in a year's time, that energy should have been felt to match some of the opportunity that's there. So if you're going to do a compare analysis piece, there should be a black version of Amazon. You don't need much to put a website together where you can buy a bunch of black products. However, kids like technology. You're talking about that boom box or those dials or whatever. What is the difference between us telling our kids that they can't have it and Donald Trump saying you only need one dial versus three? Because the rhetoric matches if you close your eyes and if you didn't have a accent on the conversation, it's still telling people to do with less.
Yeah, that's true.
And the problem
He
that I
told you.
is people who have more who are telling people to deal with less and not giving alternatives. Because Jamal Bryant, he can go to a lot of places that many of our black asses can't get into and can afford it. Target is Target is probably beneath him. And so
Hey, say it again.
I'm just
Target ain't shit. Tell them Target ain't shit. They keep acting like Target is the last. Tell them before that it was Dillard's and Montgomery Wards. Tell them.
I mean, I'm just
You, you say Montgomery Ward?
yeah,
I ain't seen the Montgomery Ward in about 10 years.
And more
because
importantly, my favorite, Sears, the
and
great equalizer.
and I
Sears was
and
the
I
shit.
and I will tell you, if Target shuts down, it's going to have a massive impact where I stay. Where I stay, the headquarters is here. It started here. That's not a Eastern business. That's not a Southern business. You put a hole here. Now, how you gonna replace that?
So one of the issues that I have with us, and I'm talking about us as Americans, period.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things we cannot change because we're no longer a producing country. We don't make anything.
Right.
The American economy is very much based off of consumerism and service businesses. It's not a huge technology sector that we have. We don't really control that. It's not a huge automobile manufacturing sector. We don't really. There's no market that the
Wait, whoa,
Americans
whoa, whoa,
really
whoa, 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 whoa.
control.
We don't control the automobile industry.
Absolutely not. The Japanese do that. The Japanese have much far market share than we do.
Yeah, they have more
Hell,
market.
China's not, huh?
Yeah, they got more market share.
Yeah, China's trying to beat them back.
But I'm sorry, I
China,
thought that
China
was
has
our.
been
I ain't trying to be antiquated, but I actually thought that was one of our strongholds. I thought the automotive industry and like arts and culture, fashion, and shit like that. Well, maybe not fashion because that's not in our wheelhouse either. Now that I look at it, I thought we had that. I knew we didn't have tech because we was begging motherfuckers to make the chips, right?
right.
What the chips are more based off of the minerals and elements that they make the chips from. That's why it's cheaper to get it elsewhere. It's this meteorite that they said, like you have these meteorites that hit certain places and they produce certain metals or whatever the case may be in certain places. But mostly why we don't produce anything is because the American CEO has to make 10,000 times more
Yep.
than his employee. Because if you took those salaries and let's say you just capped it hard, as American CEOs will make $1 million per year at max, McDonald's, Target, whatever you want to, right? You would be able to see manufacturing come back.
Come back.
It's not
Yep.
that Americans can't do it. It's not that other
Oh,
people.
oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's what Elon said.
Well,
Elon said he said we had to open up them visas because Americans is retarded. Let me start. No, I'm sorry, because there was a severe. Let me dig into my pouch for my white lady words. There's a severe educational and trade
No,
deficit in the United States, and it
no,
makes it hard for us to rally
no,
the average American to do shit like make chips and
no,
shit
no,
like that.
no, no. Because the problem is that if you pay me and I'm here, I'm going to ask for more money than when you import someone in, and you can pay them for less. So in Minnesota, we have General Mills and what's the other place? I'm thinking about. Either which way, it'll come to me. It's another tech place out here in the northwest suburbs, and you have people from India who are over here working those jobs, right? Truth of the matter is, those people pretty much live in a red roof inn for the first 2 years of being here. Now, keep in mind, they're not living in houses, even though you would think that they're making a pretty good amount of money, but they're living in a red roof hotel, right? That's not you, because if you pay an American to take a Fortune 500 job, they want to make six figures for the work that those engineers are doing.
Say that again.
They're going to want to make six figures, and they're going to
Say
want
that.
to have their medical benefits, and they're going to want to be taken care of. What Elon is talking about is allowing people to come in so they can exploit their
Their
um,
talent.
their talent. And same thing they're doing with this whole shifting of immigrants around to other countries. Don't believe that this ain't a form of chattel slavery that's taking place in front of your eyes. Because once they leave the US, the assumption is that they are in prisons. What makes you think that they are in prisons? How could another country make money off of just filling their prisons up with people? These are the questions that American typically don't ask more of. If I house you in a prison, that means I must feed you, I must bathe you, I
I
must
must
nurse you
close.
when you sick, I gotta close you, and I got to deal. That's gonna cost me money. But if I bring you to my air quote third world country, now I got free labor to clear the land. Now I got free labor to build buildings, to build roads, to industrialize,
Globalization.
globalization. So now it's just another form of chattel slavery. And I think that's the part that most Americans are allowing to escape over their head. And listen, they hit us at a good time. I'm a part of the ADOS movement. I believe in American descendants of
You
chattel.
FBA, you FBA
No,
ADOS?
no, I'm not FBA. FBA is a knockoff.
What's the difference between FBA and ADOS?
FBA is knockoffs. ADOS was first, and Tariq Nasheed did not like. He wanted to bogart ADOS, and so all that FBA stuff they just biting. You
Okay, guess what? Half
what's
of
that?
our listeners don't even know what we're talking about.
Well, some of them do, but I will. I went to the ADOS conference, the first one in 2017. Myself, Nick Muhammad, my brother Majasi Bandelli, and then also the team over at Black Civic Network. We went to Louisville for the first conference, so I got a chance to meet Yvette Carnell, and I had a chance to meet Tone from Tone Talks, and so I had a chance to meet them, and so I'm a part of the ADOS thing. But I will say, in the last few months under Trump, what it made me think about is this idea about us first, us first, us first, F everybody else. Those algorithms that I always talk about, the Republicans played on the algorithms. And so now when you talk about what they're doing, if I bring up what they're doing in East St. Paul to the Latinos, going into houses without warrants, shooting reporters in the eyes, whatever, it's a lot of black people who ain't got no sympathy for other people now because we're only so focused on our pain. You got to be able to still keep your humanity. That's the one thing I would say to people. Keep your humanity. Don't become inhumane like your oppressor. And if you have never picked it up, pick up Black Skin, White Mask by Franz Fanon. You have to understand you
Mm-hmm.
can't become the black version of white people. And that's what I see a lot online with the YouTube scholarship, with the quotes of everybody's trying to use the information and the knowledge. It's like, listen, man, you got the facts, but you're using it wrong. And a lot of people got a lot of facts, but they don't know how to process the information. You can't do it to beat people down. Information is supposed to be used to build people up. How do you build your people up with it? And so
That's right. Positive change, right, Brother Barry?
positive change, because that's really what it's about. That's why I don't necessarily buy into some of the things that I'm hearing, because don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm pro Target. What I'm saying is, if we protest and Target, we should be building something else up for ourselves.
You
And
know what I saw this in, Brother Barry? You remember Tabitha Brown?
I
You know
remember
what
Tabitha
Tabitha?
Brown, smiling Tabitha,
Okay. So we saw her try to flourish under Target, right?
right? Yeah,
And then they started like, we don't fuck with them niggas, right?
right.
So that put Tabitha in a very precarious. We don't fuck with you, nigga.
What? Well, let me ask this question, because I've tried to figure this out with that Target situation. It was the DEI thing for most people. They say that they
Yes,
don't
sir.
support DEI, right?
Right, right.
But then for me, when I looked at the numbers with DEI, I was seeing that it was typically white lesbians and gays that were getting the job. It wasn't black people. And so my question is, we're boycotting Target. You know who boycotted Target before we started boycotting Target? Do you know who, Rashi?
Us, right, right.
No, MAGA. MAGA was
For
boycotting Target before we boycotted Target. What happened is
what?
they was boycotting it because of DEI slash the gay, and it wasn't even DEI.
They
That's
was boycotting because they had black business on the shelf.
no, they was boycotting because of the transsexual displays that was on hand at the front of Target stores.
What?
Yeah,
What?
then
What
they
was
had
they? What was they? Two niggas kissing? What we talking about, Barry?
they had some period pants, some other
Man, shut
stuff.
your ass up. Ain't nobody put no period, no
Yeah, they did.
fanged
They
out
did. They
motherfucking
did.
period pants
They did. They
as an
did.
advertisement.
They did at the front of the store. They had remember the Coors
So
Light
how is
beer?
that?
Remember the Coors Light beer that they had?
Yeah, when you touched it, the rainbow would come up, right?
Man, if you YouTube that, you would see that they were going into the stores tearing those displays up.
Shut the
And
fuck
so
up, bro.
they cost Target at that time, I want to say anywhere I think it was like 36. It was $36 billion, if I'm not mistaken. It
It
was
gotta be million. Ain't nobody cost
no, no,
nobody
no,
no
no, no, no,
billion.
no, no, no. They cost them like they're, because you got to remember, it's more white people in the country than us. So
That's true.
when they
Yes, we
started
we
boycotting,
still at 15%. Okay.
right? So when they started boycotting, and it was a silent boycott, they just stopped going into the stores.
Ooh, they take Kaylee's money. Kaylee took her money back. Okay, now when Sarah and Kaylee stopped shopping with their
Yeah,
husband's debit card, that's some real shit.
right. So Target was feeling that pinch. That's why the no DEI thing came out, because they could not say per se that they weren't going to do the LGBTQ plus displays anymore.
Oh
They just said
shit.
they were getting rid of DEI. Now, I bring that up to say, once again, I'm not pro Target. What I'm saying to you is, if you close your eyes and you listen to the messages once again, don't knock the Jamal Brown or anybody else, even my sister here, Nakima Levy Pounds. Uh, I'm sorry, Nakima Armstrong. I want to make sure I get it right, because Nakima Levy Armstrong. No disrespect to them, and because I
Yeah,
believe,
because you'll get cussed out.
because I believe in people should be able to boycott and protest whomever. I have no issue with that. I definitely don't. I'm in support. I'm just trying to figure out at what point do we start building, because it's easy to say what you're not for, but what are you for? And we have to get more so into that mindset of, what are you for? If this is gonna be something that everybody's saying great, let it be a flagship moment where we're saying, hey, in 2024, 25, we stopped at shopping at Target, and this department store chain was created because we wanted to make sure that our people was treated fairly as far as employment, et cetera, et cetera. And if that happens, then I can say, yo, I'm with it. And let me say this to close real quick. It's not like chain stores don't come back. KB Toy Stores is coming back. Toys R Us is coming back. Listen, we talked about Sears and Montgomery Ward.
Brick and mortar? No, come on now. Don't slide that because
Yeah,
I'm
no,
because
they
I
are.
don't
Yeah,
want to grow because I
yeah,
don't want to grow up because if I did,
so
wait,
they
I
coming back.
wouldn't
Toys
be a
R
Toys
Us.
R Us kid.
Toys R Us is coming back. Brick
They,
and mortar, my
they,
nigga, because
no,
that's the game nowadays.
the
If you
brick and
can't get
mortar,
that motherfucking brick and mortar, it's a game.
Well, because brick and mortar, let's be real. What makes you shop more is being in the presence of other shoppers. It's a little bit.
Yes.
It's a stun impact to it. So them businesses understand you can buy online, but you ain't really gonna stun as hard as you would. Because online you're looking for the
It's a
deal.
toy. It's
Yeah.
a Toys R Us and Mall of America. I go
Hmm.
past it every time I go to Mall of America.
Hmm.
Brick and mortar.
So yeah, so they coming back, and so I say that to say we could have in a year's time put our dollars and possibly brought Sears back, Sister Rashi, or brought Montgomery Wards back and just owned it. That's the kind of leadership that we
No,
need.
no, I want to bring back Sears. Does that sound sick? I want Warren Buffett to die and refund. Okay, because he's already priming himself. You know, my boy WB is already priming himself. He didn't hand it off the money. He handed off the position. And so I was hoping he would do some weird shit like shake it up. And how will you shake it up? You bring back Sears. You allow people, because the original Sears, for those who don't know,
Hmm.
were people who they equalize the field. When you buy something from a catalog, and you don't have to show up with your dark skin or your ashy elbows, they don't know who purchased. You are
Hmm.
able to make your purchase because we're talking essentially. I ain't trying to belittle our conversation. We're talking purchasing power. Am I right?
100%. And not only purchasing power, we're talking about making sure we keep ourselves employed too, because that's the other side of it. It's not just about the purchase; it's about making
That's
sure.
what you're trying to harken in on, is right, Thomas, that when
Yeah.
your purchasing power gets removed, it could possibly remove somebody else's employment. And so we have to be mindful. But I'm trying to ask you how, and I'm not trying to be facetious, brother. You know, I'm your student forever. I'm your grasshopper forever, seafood. But look, seafood. How the fuck, bruh, are we supposed to know the ratio of our purchase to their hire?
Mm,
You understand what I'm saying? How
yeah.
are we supposed to know when we have hit them just enough
Hmm.
to where they won't fire the last four niggas? You understand? Like we don't know. We just know hurt them and then. But you said and then create our own.
Yeah.
But how do you know we've created and we create our own, brother Barry? Don't fuck around. We got goods, foods. We got Fubu. I hate to go back. Please don't. I'm sorry. I got a little, but we create our own. But
Yeah.
how do we know?
Well, I think
How
it.
do we know there is that alternative?
Well, I think it starts by being able to create relationships in the meantime. If you're gonna have a protest that's gonna span over 365 days, then during that 365 days, you got to do the legwork during the protest. Because if you're not talking to the Target CEOs or you're not talking to the Dollar General CEOs, then what you should be talking to is the manufacturers across seas, and you should be talking to Black folks who are holding bevy of dollars that's willing to invest in particular department stores. Because you have to remember, if somebody else manufacturing it elsewhere, then they're shipping it in. And so then that also takes a political leg. How do you go and talk to Trump about making sure, hey, listen, this is what we're doing, da 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 da. Hey, can we get a break on the tariffs because this is going to do this is going to do that. Hey, we'll stay non-political, we'll stay out your way, whatever, whatever. That might curry favor with the Black community because he'll say, hey, I let the Blacks have their own department store for the first time ever. The Blacks, they love me everywhere. I'm the greatest ever, you know. So that's how you
I
do.
love the blacks.
But I think that part of the conversation with activism is that we have gotten into the performative side of activism, and the real true impactful side is what do you do? Step A is easy. What do you do with step B? Like that's always been the thing, and we can't keep saying what Dr. King and what John Lewis and all those great minds have done. We got to build from that. So if they taught us how to protest, that's great. We can break a country, we can break a company, but can we build our own up at the same time? That's the next evolution in this, and I feel like that's the part that's missing the most. Like I seen brothers say, "Yo, the Black Friday lines was long." But they weren't long because it was some new Black chain store, department store that everybody's trying to get into because they selling 40-inch TVs or 50-inch TVs for the dirt because they getting it from the same manufacturer as Target or Best Buy, some of these places that are no longer selling it. So those are the things that you have to worry about. So, and the other company I was thinking about was Medtronic. So Medtronic in General Mills, but here in Minnesota, as far as where the Indians are at. But we have some of the best we have some of the best workers in the world. I want Americans to know that every time I hear that across the board, black, white, Latino, Native American, whatever, I stand with my fellow Americans. I think that we do have a workforce. I just think we have a workforce that want to get paid. And you just can't give Americans pennies and think motherfuckers just want to see you rich.
But we also have a workforce that has been undereducated on purpose.
For sure.
Because that's a political arm to keep them from really going after these jokers who aren't doing shit for them, which would help them get paid. So you have
I
to
get mad at that statement, Lee.
be. Why is that?
Can you understand that
That's
you're
the truth.
assuming that there's a human who's standing in front of children and intentionally not giving them information that can not just help them survive, but advance the country itself? Just for shits and grins and what they call that we a competition.
Okay,
Do
so
you think
where
there
I
are
was,
people who stand before children? I mean, maybe I'm just new to the game and I don't, but I don't ever recall meeting a teacher who wanted to keep me uninformed. I didn't see that. I didn't.
but
I saw
it's
children who said "fuck that," but
it's not
I ain't
it's
never
not
seen
it's
no
not the
teacher say, "I don't care if you learn algebra."
it's not the teacher though. So it's the system. The
Mm,
system is designed to prevent you all from actually being able to get to the meat of actually teaching people.
mm,
You're training them for a test. That's not teaching anybody.
mm,
You're training them for a test on a lot of things that most people are never going to use again in life. I made a joke the other day about trig, and I was saying how I learned trig enough to pass the test, but I can't recall anything in trigonometry because
mm,
I don't think I've ever had to apply anything from trigonometry
mm,
into my actual life's work or my actual life's person
Yeah,
mm,
you
purpose.
drive, right? You drive, right?
mm.
Yes, I do that.
Okay, okay. So you use trig. Never mind. Go ahead.
So and I agree with Lee.
Okay.
I think that it's unintentional. I think and what I mean by that is they're not saying that we're trying to not give kids purposely information. All folks are, but I do feel like the system is saying we make a lot more money teaching this shop class in college than we do giving it away for free because now we made this into a degree. And we just saw this like last week when he was going down a list of degrees that he was saying no longer
That's
is
right. Or no, don't. And mine is one. You,
right.
you know how I felt about me and moved over into non because I'm barely professional as it is, right, bro?
But you know why he said that
Yeah.
though, Sister Rashi? Is that in Catholic schools, there's Catholic schools that have non-licensed or non-like studied
Yeah,
teachers
them
who are teaching.
parochial schools don't have to tell nobody shit,
Yeah, they could just hire, and that's why they always have pedophiles. That's
and they'll fuck your kid up. They'll punch the shit out of your kid.
that too, and abusers as well because they're not well.
Not just punch him, thauthey'll punch him in his third eye. You know what I'm saying?
So those things take place, but doesn't matter the intentionality, it still happens. And so they are
Correct.
holding that information, and a lot of it is because they can make money on the back end. Because you know where the real money is at? That student loan that you got to take out to
Man,
learn those skill sets that they can
later
Yep.
on,
do.
when they sit up here taking out loans for for under 100 class,
Right.
most people don't know when they hello listeners, when they enroll you in something other than 101, you done fucked up. If it's 099, I don't care if it's 99 and a half. If it's not English 10 something, you're back in school. You're back in
High school.
elementary and high school.
High
And
school.
so
Yeah.
they just realized the shift between where they making people pay to go to high school.
Yeah. And
And
make you feel good about it too, because you passed that class. You know. But um, again, the lack of education, again, not intentionally through the teacher, but through the system, is causing us to stay at neutral when it comes to really exploding our economy because we don't have those skilled folk coming out of high school in a great enough number to then go on to a higher education, who then graduate from that to either go directly into the workforce and or to go into a higher degree of education to eventually get into the workforce, because everyone's going to work at some point, to really push the American machinery like it used to be.
Okay, that's the argument.
We
Barry,
don't
what do you
even
think that
have
the wait, don't push forward. You said everybody's going to work, bruh. And that's the
eventually, yes.
problem. No, no, Lee. Everybody's not going back to work.
No,
So
that's
that's
not what I'm.
no, no,
You got
no. I'm saying there's no job there to go back to.
Mm.
And the people who are willing to get up and do that amount of work for the pay are diminishing. So when you say
correct.
a statement like everybody's going to eventually go back to work, it's actually the crux of the issue.
No, I
And
didn't say everyone's going back to work. I said everyone is eventually going to work. At some point, you still have to work. Be it you work for yourself or you work for a company. Everyone has to get into the workforce at some point.
Mm.
More often than not, people join the workforce in one way or another. Either they're going to start their own company, they're going to be an influencer that still work. They're going to actually work and punch a clock. Somehow or another, everyone goes to work. That was my point.
You saying they gonna get some blood out you one way or another, homie?
I
Yeah,
mean, because I,
absolutely.
okay, because I know at least, okay, 10 people. Think of your last 10. Are there any of them who aren't working? Think of 10 friends. Anybody not working right now? What are they doing?
No, I don't have anybody that's not working right now. That's not true. I do have one person that's not working right now. Yeah, he was
A-
furloughed from the
And
federal
how to,
government.
and how is he compensating?
Say again.
And how is he compensating for lack of wage?
Money that he's had saved up.
Brother Barry?
I could think of 10. I can't think. I can't think of 10 offhand that's not either working or have their own business.
I know 4. I
Mm.
know 4. I know a brother fresh out of prison.
Mm.
Fresh out of prison. Can't get the job. Can't get the job. He's cool. He hasn't he killed a few people, but he's not going to kill on the job. So
Did she say
just
he
know,
killed a few
no,
people?
this is
But
the charges. It's he's got a racket. It's a long list of, but he's ready to clean. He's ready to clean anybody's warehouse or whatever. Can't get a job. I know a brother who's got his GED in prison. He's kind of slovenly. He's not the guy you want to hire to do anything real uh motion based, but he can lift. The nigga can lift, but he does not have a job. He doesn't have a job. There, and then don't forget my mom. Mama's 75. She's not going back to work. She's ready to cash in. Where's the money? I know so many people out here looking for a place that I don't have that same ideology, brother Lee, that the job is waiting or that the person is ready to jump in the job. There are so many factors in play out here, brother Lee, that I don't think you understand. It ain't got real out here in the streets. They're trying to consolidate those. Cause you a guy in the management position, so you know how many hours to allocate to a particular task on a particular site, right? Well, they got the manager at my school wiping off desks. The person who's supposed to create the shift, I ain't shit, so don't give me that looking like I know what I'm talking about. But there's a dude who calculate who get how many hours, and they allocate
mhm.
who worked which shift, and hey, can you pull in overtime? All that bullshit, right? Okay, that person now cleans desks. That person sweeps floors. That person does the work that other people are not showing up to do. So when you tell me, all the way down to the fundamental level where they hire motherfuckers with teardrop tattoos, when you don't have enough teardrop tattoo dudes to do the work, then what? Like for real, Lee, I am seeing it, and I know FedEx is feeling it because they scared off Jose and them, And I know our agricultural people are feeling it because y'all won't go sign on. We can't get our meth heads and shit to go pick strawberries. And so we are really, really going to feel this job shift. And I don't think you, when you say motherfuckers is going back to work, I don't think you understand exactly how important that statement
That's not what I
is.
said. That's not. I didn't say people are going back to work. I clearly stated, and I really need you to hear this. So we're talking about apples to apples. Eventually, everybody goes to work. For the majority of people, either you create your own lane or you go to work for somebody else. Some of us put it off by joining the military, but eventually, even that ends, and you got to get an actual job or you create one using whatever skill set you have. I do agree with you, and I understand that there are a lot of jobs being eliminated day in and day out. We have talked about the war on work on this show for years. There's a program being extended. I read about it just this morning before coming on the show that guarantees $500 in a set group of people's pockets every month to help them with their expenses. I have said on this show that we are getting closer and closer to the reality of Star Wars and or I'm sorry, Star Trek. Star Trek, where money is no longer a thing. It's going to have to come to a point where people are compensated in another way in order for them to pay for the goods and services that people need in order to survive. Because jobs are constantly being eliminated time and again by automation, by AI. We haven't even gotten a super
COVID,
intelligent.
yeah, COVID got us too, right?
Right. But COVID ramped up the reliance on automation. COVID ramped up the alliance. Listen to me. The well, alliance could we I could say alliance, but COVID ramped up the usage of automation. COVID ramped up the reliance
Yeah,
on artificial intelligence. What we're seeing, some people are going to pull back. I heard the other day in Walmart, one of the checkers saying they're going to pull out the automated check-in aisles pretty soon in Walmart. That's not the first time I've heard that. I read a couple articles on it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting to see and read the article that says that they've taken out the damn self checkout lanes. They're losing money right and left and right because people are stealing. So
yep,
they want people to engage with the checkout people again. It just curbs stealing less.
yeah,
Um, and I can see after they do it that other stores follow suit because pretty much everywhere you go right now is self freaking checkout. You know
So,
what I'm
so I
saying?
ain't gonna be able
Um,
to ring in my 55-inch TV under a bag of hot dog
there you go.
buns.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
See
Exactly.
what you do,
Exactly.
listeners. You put the hot dog buns under the code for the TV, and when you scan it across the that shit is paid for. Every time I hear about theft, they make me boiling motherfucking mad. There's a check that the United States government, federal fucking treasury, I don't give a damn. I don't know who they are. The insurance people. Every store at the end of the, they finna write it now. They finna write that motherfucker now. At the end of the fiscal year in July, they write a note saying they stole $75,000 worth of shit out of this store, right? And then they give them the damn money back. Quit fucking with us. You get your money back.
yeah,
Quit wrestling us to
But
the goddamn ground and shit. Give her that shit.
but
Take a picture of it and say, hey, take a video. Go,
but
hey, bitch, bring that shit back. And then when you get done, put her picture in the window and move on and count the loss, what you do with the other fake money that you didn't put in petty cash that you fucked over. Go ahead on, get your insurance payout. Quit sending that fat ass white dude over here to fuck with me, and go and get your shit. Like it make
oh,
me boiling
but
goddamn mad, Tom. I
but
mean Barry. I can't tell you.
but
yeah,
this goes to what Thomas said before, and Thomas has brought this up spot on. Too many CEOs nowadays don't get a salary. They take their salary in stock options. So you need that stock to look pretty now. You don't need that stock to look pretty in July because your ass might get fired between now and July. So they want to crack down on theft because it keeps the stock looking healthy at all times. Because you never know when your ass might get cut out like a Ginsu, like with using the Ginsu knife and get fired. And again, if that stock price is high, when you get fired, that's the more money you put in your damn pocket. So that's what that's all about. There was I read an article yesterday, I want to say, about maybe the day before. Walmart's outgoing CEO's like he's been unloading stock options. No shit. That's what he's supposed to do. The stock is high right now. He's trying to get as much money as he can before that report comes out at the beginning of the year that may or may not reflect that he still did a good job.
Yeah.
Sell it now.
Yeah.
You're going out the door. Get as much money as you can out the damn door. That is a part of your golden parachute.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Whatever.
And,
Get your money and keep it rolling.
and
That doesn't mean the company is in trouble. That just means he's trying to get all his damn money he possibly can get now
yeah.
before the end of the year and they start playing with his money. Well, we can pay you, but you may need to wait another 6 weeks. Nah, motherfucker, I want my shit now. So
Yeah.
he's been offloading it now. That's just smart. That's not bad business. Again, it's not an indicator how well or how bad the company. Well, actually, it's an indicator how well the company's doing. That's why he's trying to offload the stock now when it's high. You know what I mean?
I
That's
mean,
whatever.
but that's the theme in America right now. It is, and this this goes back to my views on Trump. The views is that the rich is just trying to hoard as much as they can, and they don't care how the storyline fits as long as their coffers are filled with American dollars. And then it's the other side of it. It's Americans who we don't necessarily, the middle class, Rashi, are not looking at other middle class people in admiration or in fellowship. We look at each other as in disgust. Poor people look at other poor people as in disgust. The only people that everyone looks up to are the people that are robbing you with no ski mask. And so, as long as you have this admiration, infatuation with those people who we are perceiving as being rich, you never really see the robbery happening, right? Like they're waving the gun in your face, but you don't necessarily see the gun in your face, and you're willing to give up the loot. And that's what I feel like we are seeing. And they're using AI, they're using automation, they're using those things as an excuse, as a way of saying, like, hey, this is undeniable, but it does not have to go that way. We're not for, like we don't have to do crypto. We want to do crypto. We don't have to do AI. We want to do AI. Speaking of, AI is hard headed. I just want to let people know out there, AI is freaking hard headed. Don't let people don't let these folks talk to y'all like AI is just gonna solve everything. When you get to working with AI and giving it commands, I've given the same command over 50 times in the last 3 weeks, and AI is just doing what the F it wants to do. So with that being said, it's not going to get easier.
Right, because it's a conglomeration of what we already know. And if we don't know shit and we asking it for what we don't know, best it can do is create a neural network of understanding based on what we already know to try to configure what we don't already know. And so it's asking us, it's ask us to speak into a machine and then ask the machine to tell us what we haven't told it. That's some dumb shit. Machines can't give you what you haven't given them. That's what AI is. AI is not too much different from the watch, Brother Barry. AI is a conglomeration of thinkers who have noticed a phenomenon and they put it into a database, and that database is the internet. And what we ask the internet to do is to conglomerate those events, those phenomena, and then we not to say what was, not to say what, but to ask them what could be based on what was. Then we get frustrated when they don't give us what was. You say, no, 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 no. No, no, no. I want what is, what's going to be tomorrow, what will be. How? And we're asking a machine to do that. And we're asking it to do it based on ideology and information that we put into it.
Yeah.
So when you say, yeah, y'all here acting like y'all found y'all savior, and indeed being able to rest on the knowledge of millions of people in one database is quite powerful,
I mean,
right?
it's powerful, but I will just say it's not exact. And I think that's the thing that most people don't get. It's not exact. And working with it, giving it prompts and just, this past few weeks, I'm learning that the way that it's being advertised, uh, the way that it's being advertised, I just think that people are under this assumption that it's going to be easy peasy and it's just going to take everything away. And the other thing too, Sister Rashi, is I think the gloom and doom reference to the American worker is so that people can stop trying to polish up their skills and get better at work. If you tell somebody they suck long enough at something, sooner or later they're gonna believe that they're just not good. Even if they've never done the job, if they've never done the task, who gets to choose that Rashi can't do said
That's
task if
right.
Rashi has never been assigned to do said task?
Didn't
How
get
they know
trained
what he
for it
can
or
do?
nothing. Tell them. And
How
that's what they
can it,
told us. They said they was gonna have to go out of the country, right, brothers?
that
They
man?
said that America is fuck. That there. Okay, let me say it right. I gotta dig into the bag. That there is a severe skill and cognitive deficit in the mindset of American children, and that if we wanted long term infrastructure change, like Joe Biden and them was calling for in a bill,
Right.
that we was gonna have to call for outside help because we have multi-generational ineptitude in our workforce, and so that's what they told us. You said they've been calling us dumb, brother Barry. That's what he said. He said go. He said
Well,
Elon said go get y'all somebody because this ain't gonna work.
But where they gonna come from when they're trying to get the Haitians out of the country? They want the Somalians out of the country. They want the Afghans out of the country. Hell, they kicked the Koreans out when they raided the facility in Georgia. The Koreans have since come back. Some of them, a whole lot of them, said they will never come back, and they have not. But where are these workers going to come from? They want to deport every Latino that they can get their hands on. So where are these workers supposed to come from in order to do the work that America needs done, especially when it comes to infrastructure? You ain't getting these average white folk out here doing no damn infrastructure jobs.
Chattel slavery. Because if I can
Mm.
imprison enough of you, now you can do the work for pennies on the dollar. And now I can make money that way. You guys remember that story like a few years ago that the Louisiana governor was upset because he said that there were too many men who were being released from prison from early release. Do y'all remember that story?
No, no, do tell.
And he was saying that he didn't want that many people being released early from prison because who was going to make up for the work that those men were doing in jails, making the furniture, making clothes and other commerce that the state of Louisiana was making money off of. So he wanted those men to serve out more of their full terms versus early release. That's the idea that these people are operating from. They're not, and that's why I say I had to readjust my lens looking at the extradition of these Latino immigrants or these Haitian immigrants or whoever they're talking about, and why are they just putting them air quote into prisons? Once those cameras turn off, we don't know whether those people are going to be in prisons or not. But one thing I know for sure, living in Mississippi, I seen how the chain gang works in Mississippi. Sister Rashi, everybody that's working on the chain gang aren't necessarily working on the railroad tracks, busting down bricks.
Man,
Some,
they picking up trash, bro. They building walls. Hey, they putting out fires. They're wildfire dudes.
and not only that, some of them are working as servants in in people's yards, gardening and cutting grass and tending to the acres of land that rich white folks have. See, now you got a servant, but you don't have to pay for the servant. And that's what this is all about, free labor.
Well, it's gonna be a lot because if you starve me out and you unhouse me and
Mhm.
you don't give me proper health care and I'm uneducated, I have to do acts of survival. And acts of survival in America land you in prison. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So it becomes a so now what do we have? to combat this. Now, one of the things I've been seeing,
Hmm.
Brother Barry, is this thing called My Brother's Keeper. Have you know My Brother's Keeper? Obama's
Hmm.
Obama, and my sister's keeper, my brother's keeper. It's an organization that he took some money into. You know what I'm saying? And it's still popping, right?
Hmm.
And so, how talk to me? How do we use things like community gardens, like my brother's keeper, like? How are we going to combat this squeeze they're putting down, not only on the workforce? Because if you don't educate me at school, somebody's got to teach me how to grow food. Somebody's got to teach me how to be what they call them urban rangers. Do you have urban rangers?
No, we don't.
Or how about youth ambassadors?
Yep, we do.
Like those youth ambassador programs. Okay, we got to do something with that because they're looking. They see their uncle is not working, right?
Uh-huh.
They see children ain't stupid, right?
Uh-huh.
So if we don't have something for them on the other end, whether it be, I don't know, Brother Barry, I'm lost with trying to explain it. You tapped in as a teacher. I know that sounds crazy, but you still tapped into it a lot better than I am. What kind of programs do we send them to AmeriCorps?
Well, I think that we look at the idea of what's happening with the breakdown of the Department of Education, and I think communities just start getting more creative in what they want in schools. And I've always said this: I never liked No Child Left Behind. I thought the Democrats should have moved to get rid of it right away. And I thought that they should have implemented putting things like shop, home ec, um, automotive, and other things back in the schools as
Yeah,
soon as possible.
I
And
had it. Yeah.
the reason being is that counters the debt that some of these folks would have. This gives them certifications right away, even with radio and technology, and television and podcasting and things of that nature. Kids should be able to get certified as engineers because that's a whole nother revenue stream that you should be able to take as a class in high school and elevate yourself to be certified to be able to run and man the boards or just even do coding and things of that nature. Those are not skill sets that it takes you to be 18 plus to do. You can start working on those things from the age of 12 all the way up until 18 and have a job moving out. I just think it's time for us collectively to reimagine how the workforce should be. At what age do you really get into the workforce? Do you have to get a 4 year degree to make it? How come we can't create more blue collar jobs? Why can't coding be a blue collar thing? I literally built a website. I mean, not a website. I literally built an app in 30 days without no training. I just did it. And not only did I build one, I built five in 30 days without no training. And so why are we telling our people that they can't do things that they can do? And that's part of the issue that I have with all of this. It's like we're constantly telling Americans what they can't do. I think the next person that comes along that really is going to be the wave in this country is going to be a can do person. And it has to be a can do person that's not looking at other people success as a form of jealousy, because I think that's what we have now. I think the hate train is real. And the only way to conquer that hate is you have to be able to give aspirations and inspiration. By the way, I want to say to both of you, I hope that this weekend that you download the Watch app this weekend. I'm getting on all family and friends, and I'm saying, man, download the Watch app. I'll send you the link. I want everybody on it. I get to see who's on it. That's how I get to, I'm like the new Tom. You remember Tom on MySpace? When you sign
I
up,
do.
if you
That nigga was like, "Hey, Rashi." I'm like, "What? Who is you?"
All right. So if you go to the watchapp.org and you sign up, I am your friend. So I get to see who's all on the app. And if you're on there, I'm going to make sure that I have you, I'm going to request you as a friend. If it's not automatic, you're going to get my request. But I say that to say we have to start creating our own lanes, and we have to be hard headed in the aspect of we don't have to live off the standards that they say. That's my biggest frustration. My biggest frustration with us is why do we have to dance to their music? Why don't we create our
Mm.
own music? Why don't we create our own language? Why don't we create our own lane? Because how capitalism works is if you create a lane that everybody wants to drive in, you get capital. But if you're just going to keep driving in the lanes that other people are creating, you're not a producer, you're a consumer. And we need more of a productive mindset.
I apologize, you all. As I told you all privately, I don't know. I had to blow my nose, and I had an episode of vertigo going on, so I've been in and out and in as best I can. But I wanted to cover some news before we left because we got 15 minutes left in the show. Early in the week, two National Guardsmen from the state of West Virginia were shot in Washington, D.C. One of them lost their lives, Sarah Beckstrom. She was 20 years old. She died on Thursday,
Hmm.
actually. The male, Andrew Wolf, 24 years old, is still listed in critical condition, fighting for his life. They were killed by an Afghan national, Romano Lula La Canal. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. 29 years old. He applied for asylum in 2024 and was his application was granted earlier this year. We're not going to go into the politics of that. I don't care who did what when, but that's how and the timeline of how things happened with that young man. Um, he's obviously in custody. This is when Trump tweeted that he would stop the protections and processing of any additional Afghan nationals through the immigration system, which he has done. And again, we're talking about folks whom they're National Guard folk, so they are voluntary force, just like all, but extremely voluntary. You're in the Guard, and they were in Washington, D.C. as part of this deployment. He has called for 500 additional guardsmen to come into D.C. because of this incident as well. We know that he has tried to deploy or has successfully deployed the National Guard in other sectors of America.
Mm.
He's putting folks in harm's way, y'all, because he's trying to use the National Guard as his personal army. He's trying to use ICE as his personal police force. This is just not good. It's not good. It's not good for the American people. It's not good for the country as a whole. It's
Mm.
not a good look at all.
Not at all.
The Supreme Court has a lot of decisions to make. They have a lot of explaining to do as well. They need to really be held to account for their lack of leadership, guidance, if you will,
Yeah.
on situations like this that are
Yeah.
constantly putting our sons and daughters, when I say our, I mean the children of people in this country,
Yeah.
in harm's way because this boy wants to play war.
Yeah.
He wants to play war.
I wonder if we withheld the money from the congressional members, Senate members, the
Say
Supreme
that again.
Court, as well as the president, how much money that would save Americans.
Yep.
Because to me, it's just been just pure neglect. And, they tried to politicize the situation with the shooting of the National Guard's members. But the reality of it is they're making it hot by not addressing the mental health concerns around the country. And by the way, RFK Jr., could you please get off the psychedelics? I knew it was something
Baby,
crazy
man,
about
leave
you.
that man alone.
I was
Hey,
talking about
CC,
you
did
sobered
y'all
up.
watch
You
the
back on that?
video?
No. He back on that dope. We got
Leave
a
that man
Joe Clark.
alone.
We got a Joe Clark here.
Lord have mercy.
We got a
He in
Joe
there
Clark
shaky.
his
Leave
ass.
that shaky man alone. Look, did y'all watch the video where they told the military and all the other dudes that they don't have to obey illegal orders?
Yeah, that's. I mean that's a part of the orders. That's nothing. That's
But
nothing.
don't you think that plays into when people start getting shot and just
No, no,
overall?
no, 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 no. That
No,
those
no.
are those are two different things. I think what happens is people are worried about, like in DC, you when you have the National Guards running the streets, right? Like Trump inserted them in as police, and they didn't insert themselves. That's him utilize, as Lee said, utilizing them as if they're his own personal
His
backup
personal army.
army. And so that also drives people who sit in these rooms who are mentally unstable to have fear of the God and God's women. So I just think that it's about time that people really have a true grown-up conversation. And here's the thing: he's using a lot of war powers act. There's no war. Where's the war in Congress?
None whatsoever.
Well, Congress is supposed to declare this wartime act. Even what we're seeing with ICE, this deporting people out and what's going on inside of Venezuela and stuff like this. That's on Congress. That's on Mike Johnson. For all intents and purposes, should have his ass sitting in Guantanamo Bay, because what he's doing is so criminal, right? The negligence of what he's pulling. And I hope that when history is written about this asshole, it's so unkind that people should be reminded. Once again, this was a hard lesson Americans had to learn in the 1930s. And I know that this is not going to fit well with those YouTube scholars, but here's the facts. It's a reason why they said in the night after the 1930s, the Republicans are never supposed to be in charge of the purse strings, because they know every time the Republicans are in charge of the purse strings, the money in this country goes left. They know it. We all know the Republicans are not who you let it. You can't put them in charge of the money because they steal too fucking much. It's like putting your fat uncle in charge of the goddamn wedding cake and hoping that the cake make it to the reception. It ain't gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. It's not in one piece. It's not in one piece. So if you guys
He
keep
gonna
on,
let that motherfucker. He gonna put his finger
come
on.
on, come on. So when I hear people online saying, "Well, both," no, there are some similar, there are some differences between both parties, and you have to understand. It's not saying that you kowtow to the Democrats like they're perfect. No, they are racist. They are all of those things, but there is a difference, and you have to
Yep.
be able to speak about the subtle differences between the two. One will drive you off the fucking cliff. That is true. The other just tend to play bumper cars with all the other parked cars that are on the street. Now, what does that mean? Now, you're going to get some shit damage if you got one. Well, the other one, everybody dies. So you got to
You
ask,
gonna
what do you want? Do you want the person that's going to tear up the cars in the neighborhood, or do you just want the one that's just going to drive the car off the
because
cliff?
we can get a new car, but
We
you
can
ain't getting a new life.
there you
This
have
ain't a fucking video game.
there you have
So, state going to Georgia before we close up because now we got 6 minutes left in the show.
Mhm.
State Bill 244 means nothing to most of you all, but let me tell you what State Bill 244 does in effect. State Bill 244 in the state of Georgia allows for any defendant to reclaim legal fees if the persecutor in the case was discharged
Mm.
for or disqualified, I'm sorry, for misconduct or discharge, or and charges are dismissed in their case. What
Yes.
case just got dismissed in the state of Georgia?
I was thinking, is this like the Fannie Willis law? Because that's what it
Yep,
sounds like to me. Like it's like
absolutely.
it sounds like
Yep,
the two things. It's the Trump situation, and then it's the Young
correct.
Thug situation, right? Like
Yep,
that's what that all sounds like to me, right? Mixed into one.
and that's exactly what it is.
Oh my God.
Now, if this right now, if the state approved this, but they're dumbasses. So if he wins this case, which 9 times out of 10 he will, and his co-defendants win their cases, which 9 times out of 10 they will, the citizens of Georgia will have to pay them for their legal fees. Make sense to me. Everybody knows you did what you did. You've been denied at almost every level that you I'm sorry, that your claims that you didn't do what you did have been denied at almost every level. But the state of Georgia says, yeah, we get all that. But since we made a move to get rid of the person who could prove that you did what you did, we gonna give you your money back. Okay? All right. Make that shit make sense to me.
So
It
so
doesn't.
they're going to bow down to Vlad the Impaler again. This,
Yes.
this is another way of him being able to take taxpayers' dollars and say, since you didn't vote for me the last time, you got to pay me. You have
Yep.
to pay me because I lost and I was a sore loser. Pay up.
No accountability. Zero accountability.
Yeah,
Zero.
it's fucking crazy, man.
Lastly, before we wrap it up, at the beginning of the week, if you did not see or you did not hear, the cases for Letitia James and James Comey were dismissed by a judge. The judge stated that Lindsay Halligan was unlawfully appointed by Pam Bondi. Therefore, the cases could not move forward. Uh, if you've not paid attention, this administration continues to lose in court while it also continues to push the DOJ to punish anybody whom President Trump believes wronged him before he was reelected. Again, not a good look for the country at all. Not a good look for democracy at all. Not a good look for the American people specifically. We have a fundamental right to disagree with our government. It ain't personal, bruh. It's politics. You are a politician. That's how this shit goes. Go ahead, Sister Rashi. What you got? The wine
Well,
is down.
I'm gonna end on a sadly, uh, you know, we just have to remember around the world the effects of our behavior are being seen in other countries. Thailand is underwater right now because we won't stop. I can't explain how it goes round and round like that, but there's something about the way the United States and China get down that is making the rest of the world suffer. And until we really understand this better and start addressing it, we're going to have issues. We're going to keep monsooning other small countries that we're supposed to be building alliances with. We buy our energy credits from, but I digress. Secondly, I want to send out a global shout to the people of Hong Kong with those all those souls who went up in fire like that. That's some bullshit. And then they was talking about how it wasn't no fire alarms that everybody just went whoosh, and it wasn't no those things are supposed to be made of concrete. Ain't nothing supposed to go up quite that incendiary from the, yeah, it just it gave it gave blacklist, and I don't know how to explain that no better. I hate when things are so extraordinarily bad that something had to happen. So I'm
Something
telling
nefarious had to happen.
something nefarious, which is my least favorite word. So if you guys could just get as much world news on as possible. I know, Brother Barry, we need to be focused within, right? Doing the work of our people within, but it can't happen to the ignore ignorance of the rest of the world. So I'm hoping that our listeners are getting our world news on, even if it's sad, even if it's something as interesting as a Honduran election to see how they're going to side with or without their old, how it's how small worlds decide they're going to align themselves that make big waves about how we as a country have to deal with the rest of the world. Because I have to, we are not alone. This is not an island. We have people on top of us, people on the bottom of us. There's little small countries that we didn't fucked with all around the globe.
Right.
So we need to stop acting like this is some. We're not Australia.
Hmm.
Okay, we're not and Australia got it bad because most of that motherfucker can't be touched. Go out there in the middle of that damn desert. Anyway, please understand that America. I know. I see you rapping. Leave me alone. I see that we are not an island. Please, America, get your global news on. All right.
Thomas, what you got?
Well, I just want to remind people out there, especially locally, we've had ICE inside of our city last week. We had a raid where a Latino family, where ICE didn't even have a warrant. They just went into a home, they snatched the individual out. A reporter got shot in the eye. Citizens were maced. Some people were beat down by not only just ICE, but also the St. Paul Police Department. I say that to say online, a lot of times we focus so much on the critique of the individual person. We talk about people's downfalls and shortcomings. We need to turn around and look at what our taxpayer dollars are doing and who are using the dollars that we're giving to them. That should be the conversation. the conversation, whether it's here or it's abroad, we should talk about how those dollars are being spent or not being spent, and is it making us better or making us worse? Keep in mind that those ICE agents are making a lot of dollars hands over fists, but I want to be mindful to them to tell them you may not have a job. That may be your last job, especially once we
Mm,
find out who you are.
there you go. Look, family, I appreciate you all sticking around for today. Hopefully everyone found joy and happiness as they celebrated time with their families. We apologize for not having all four of us here, but it be that way next week. My sister's getting married, so I will not be here. But Thomas said he got it. And Rashi, I know, will be feeling better by then. Rodney will be on point as well, so you all will hold it down. I'm sure. I'm certain of it. Until then, if no one's told you they love you, we have now. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Until next week, family. Peace. I need to get out this hotel room before they kick me out.
All right, bro, man. You handle that vertigo.